offer the best grooming plans for you. That's all natural and handcrafted too. We wanna help be a swagger, style, class, and luxury. Make our products tailor-made for you with high quality. Yeah. So get in style with the black, yeah. Company, you swagger, style, class, and luxury, yeah. Black, gentleman, yeah. Company, you swagger, style, class, and luxury, yeah.
Located at www.theblackgent.com. Yo. What's good? It's Stormybman, and I am back. Welcoming you to Answering the Bell with Stormybman, our Sunday morning call in for this Sunday, June 2nd, 2024. And we are back with the 121st episode of the call in. And hopefully we can get off with a great conversation. We're coming out of another boxing filled weekend where we had the Queensberry versus Matchroom 5 versus 5 promoter versus promoter fight card tournament, you may call it, first of its kind. But it was yesterday, and Queensberry managed to trounce Matchroom in the 5 versus 5, taking all fights, and a couple of them by stoppage. So we are here today. We could talk about that. We could talk about what's on the horizon, and maybe a little mix in a little other subjects surrounding the sport, of course, because that's what the call-in show is all about. But I want to say welcome everybody out there. I hope you're having a bright, pleasant Sunday morning. Hope that you've awakened with your right frame of mind as we get ready to venture into a new week. So, with that being said, smash the like button as you come into the building, people. Share the content on your social medias, and let's talk and let's have a great show this morning. I've decided to take things back a little bit from how my presentation usually be on Sunday morning. Thought that I might bring back my former look that I keep on standby, because you got to do these things so people don't forget, huh? You got to do them so people don't forget. Just let it be known that, Stormy B, man, come out here, got my sensei backdrop, the brick wall. You know what that means. It's time to go to class. And for you morons out there, F+, get to the back of the class. It's right here on the brick wall to remind you, huh? Don't come around these parts thinking that you know when you don't, huh? Yeah! Because Stormy gonna set you straight on it, huh? With a little bit of boxing knowledge, huh? And a little bit of insulting, huh? Rub your nose in the mess. Yeah, because that's what I'm going to do, huh? Because some of y'all like to fling poo. And when it comes down to flinging that poo, huh? There's one thing that I say about that. You know who flings poo, huh? Do I gotta remind you? Yeah. So just understand. You come around these parts trying to fling some poo, Stormybman gonna give it to you, huh? Pause. Yeah. Welcome everybody. Let's see who we got in the chat this morning. Let's see who we got out there. Yeah, Nicholas Levy out there bright and early in the building saying peace to King Wilder. You have nothing else to prove, champ. My partner there, Drew Titan LLC, is in the building. Reef the Watcher is out there saying, good morning, Sensei. And chat, Jimmy Bernard is back saying, what's good, Sensei? Salute to the chat. Smash that like button. Jay Grant Jr. in the building saying, Stormy B, salute OG. DJ Rush is back saying, good morning, Stormy. How is your morning going? Glad to be back. Good to see you back, DJ Rush. Good to see you back. Shower is in the building this morning saying, peace and prayers, Stormy and chat. What's good with you? Mr. Shelton is out there. Swine, my brother, saying peace. Willie Lowe is with us this morning. What's going on with you, Willie? How you doing? He's saying salute to all. Good morning. Yeah. Who else we got out there? Drew is laughing. I know Drew is laughing at you. Laughing at me making them remarks about them simians. But you know, Drew, we got to have them. We got to, put that electric fence up there. You know what I mean? They don't like electricity. You know that, right? Zzz, yeah. We give it to them raw. Pause. Yeah. Lewis Hinton just popped into the building. What's happening, Lewis? You guys smash that like button as you come in, man. Smash it, smash it, smash it. So, let me see a show of support by putting a 1 in the chat. Salute to Champside. That's his thing. You know what I'm saying? Put a 1 in the chat. But I just want to see a show of support that how many people got a chance to see the 5 versus 5 card yesterday out of you guys that's out here in the chat. How many of you got a chance to see it? In live time, not the replay or whatever, but watched it all live. Because it's important, what we're going to talk about as far as me asking this question. So if you got a chance to see it live, let me see the ones if you did. I want to see what you guys, we're going to talk about this a little bit. I'm trying to set my mic on a good angle because I want to be able to. I drink my little drinkity drink. Yeah, I know you, Drew. I know your situation that because you have had a real busy weekend here. So yeah, I'm asking that because, this promotion was the first of its kind, this 5 versus 5. And though I would maybe refrain from saying that all of the participants from both sides were the best that promotional company had to put into the tournament, but they were picked by the heads of those promotions, Frank Warren and Ed Hearn, and some of them, this was a chance to shine because there were some unknown parties on there as far as being known internationally. And then some were, old stalwarts that we were very familiar with. But my question to you guys who saw it live, what did you think of it overall? I mean, as I was watching it live, I was like, you know what's funny? It's like, it's rare that we get cards where every fight on the card is a doggone 50-50 fight, right? I mean, think about it. Every fight on the card, it's like you could have your favorite, right? Like I'm rolling with so-and-so, I'm rolling with so-and-so. But it's like so-and-so could win or so-and-so could lose, right? So this is something that I want to see more of. I guess that's what I'm saying. I'm taking a long way around to come to the conclusion that I like this. I like when you don't know. And then there were fights as they were happening, and you're like, oh, so-and-so needs to step it up. He needs to do something, because if he keep going like this, you know, he ain't going to win and stuff like that. It's like, it was really entertaining. And I talk about this in my breakdown videos. I say, you know, what my take and assessment of both parties' abilities and skill sets would be. But then I always end the video by saying, but what do you think? Because it's not about being correct, but it's about understanding what can transpire. And when you have a grasp over what can transpire, that will enable you to enjoy it till its fullest. That's why I say those things. There's a method to the madness. You know what I'm saying? Salute to Mahari Nation Sports Podcast. I see you out there, bro. How you doing this morning? So Willie Lowe, Lewis Hinton, Shower, Shelton, Drew, you guys got a chance to see it live. That's great, man, because I'm just wondering, did you all get that too? Did you get that feeling about this? Forget the fact that the two promoters are going against each other, who's losing, who's winning. But the fact that the bouts that took place, they were entertaining and they were 50-50 fights. How long have we been clamoring for that? How long? And if you really understand, these men who participated last night were not all the best that each side could offer. Even though it was a sweep by Queensberry, it's still not the best that Matchroom could have put in there, and it's not the best that Queensberry could have put in there. But damn if it wasn't good. Huh? Right? That's what I'm trying to say. See, I told you, I attack this sport from a different angle when I do what I do. And it's, if you profess to love the sport of boxing, you gotta love what they gave you. Even if some fights didn't go your way, even if who you were supporting didn't win, or who you were supporting won, but not in the fashion that you had hoped or whatever. I'm just saying, hey, give us more, huh? But I don't want the Saudis to be the only one who do this. In other words, not the promotion company versus promotion company, but to be encouraged to put the fighters in more competitive bouts. I can understand when you have young prospects and you're building their careers and you have them on a little trek and journey, that you're putting them in against fighters in bouts that they can learn and they can experience certain things as far as the length of rounds, someone who runs away from them as opposed to someone who attacks them. Things that they're going to be working on to get better as they become contenders. I understand that. But well-established fighters should not be fighting guys that don't belong in the ring with them. Like the Christian and Billy Mark Heffron fight from a week ago. That fight was 30 seconds. And Billy should be fighting for a world title any moment. And I understand there's talks that he might be fighting Sergey Deverenchenko in his next bout coming up in a few months. Yeah, that might be a nice fight for him, Billy, but Deverenchenko, why don't somebody give that man a world title shot? He deserves it. Why does he have to keep fighting these young men? And he's in competitive fights that if it goes to decision, they're not giving him his win. But you're piling up his losses on his record when he's shown that he deserves. He is worthy of a title shot. It reminds me of back when Costa Tszyu, Tim Tszyu's dad, was a world champion. And he gave a title shot to Cool Vince Phillips, a veteran fighter who was a solid contender, who could box like the Dickens, and he upset Costa Tszyu. He upset him, stopped him. Now, some people were shocked and surprised, but people who understand boxing and knows the work that Vince had put in his career, that if Tim Tszyu wasn't careful, this could happen. And it did. Julio Cesar Chavez wouldn't fight Cool Vince Phillips. Huh? And there were a couple of other guys who were prominent in that day and time. But this is what I be talking about. This is the kind of thing that it makes a difference. So what we saw last night was kind of that. Now, some of you don't know about Willie Hutchinson, but you may have seen Craig Richards, because these light heavyweights, they were out there, and Richards has fought on Matchroom boxing cards a lot. He's fought the likes of guys like Joshua Buatsi and Dimitri Bivol. So if you've seen those fights, you're familiar with Richards. But Hutchinson was someone that a lot of people wasn't aware of, and he had been fighting on that lower tier against guys that he could clean up. And he's a heavy-handed guy. I won't necessarily call him a power puncher, but he's heavy-handed. And against that lesser opposition that he was fighting, he was looking super. But against Richards, you could see he was struggling in moments because of the experience that Richard had at 34 years of age. Hutchins is in his 20s, like 26 or something like that. But it was a quality fight, man. A very much so quality fight. This is what we're talking about. DJ Rush says, I only got to see the Daniel Dubois versus Hrgovic fight and the main event. Had television trouble. Enjoyed the fights though. Willie Lowe says, that's true. Even the Bivol fight was 50-50. Good show. Robert Singleton says, salute Sensei in chat. Great card last night. Brother Bakari says, peace and blessings. Lewis Hinton says, yes. Drew Titan says, the supporters of the sport won last night. Shower says, for the most part, 50-50. I had my picks. We discussed Friday. Laugh out loud. Yeah, we did discuss. Robert Singleton says, facts, OG. And Billy smoked that dude quick. The guy wasn't in there to compete, man. And it's unfortunate because if you bring a guy who's going to compete, you never know. The upsets can happen. Sometimes these guys who are the favors are front runners. They begin to believe their own hype because their promotional and management groups are putting them in these win scenarios. But sometimes somebody doesn't comply with that. So it's up to the fighter to adjust to what he's seeing before him and then overcome it and say, see, I'm ready for the next level. You guys thought you would put a banana peel out there for me, but I didn't slip on it. I picked it up and dropped it in the trash where it belongs. Huh? Yeah. Michael Thomas says, you talking about, hey, man, we're not going to do that, Michael Thomas. We're not going to do that. Delano Lehman says, Is there an issue with our young American fighters? We went 0-3 last night, too, in the UK. Teaching. If you listen to my content, I've talked about the teaching being horrendous amongst today's fighters. You have men that are very talented, and they go far on their talent sometimes. Further in today's time on their talent alone, because the teaching is poor across the board. But back in the day, even if you had talent, that wasn't enough to get the job done, because veteran fighters could take your ass to school. How many times are you seeing fighters take a guy to school in this present era of boxing? Not a lot. You can't say it. Sam Mack Boxing TV in the building saying salute, Sensei, and peace to everyone in the chat. Yes, sir. Isaiah GQ says AAU basketball is trash too. Hey, I'm talking about teaching, man. And remember, teaching is across the board in life. Huh? Whether it's the classrooms or where you send your children, whether it's at home, who's raising the children, whether it's on the job and someone is trying to prepare a new stalwart who's come in and joined the crew. Teaching is horrendous in this present time. And instead of pointing fingers, the thumbs need to be pointing back at those who are in the position to make the difference. Accountability. Yeah. Yeah. I can say these things, but you know what? You don't have to agree. And sometimes if you find yourself in a disagreeable point of this, you might be the very problem. Yeah. DOG 215 is in the building. What's good with you? Says salute Stormy in the chat. Mahari Nation Sports Podcast says, you said it many, many times. Yep, the teaching in boxing is extremely poor. That's what I'm seeing now. And my channel is now like 5 years old, you guys. So that's 5 years of me saying this, and there's been really no change. Think about that. Think about that. I told you, I say these things, and the guys be looking at me, but they don't make adjustments or changes. But they could be looking at me, huh? What they do? Peer at their screen like this, huh? This is all they could do. Think about it. Think about it. Sitting up there looking at the screen. And I often follow it up with, prove me wrong. Do I not? I say, prove me wrong. But you're looking at me like this, but you ain't changing your underwear, huh? You still stink, huh? You still need to get in the tub, huh? Take your shoes off and have the whole house and rooms smelling like corn chips, huh? Yeah. But we're here to have a discussion on these things. Phone lines are open. Shower with the sick looking face emojis. Yeah. Right? But you know, Shower, I'm going to tell the truth, right? This is what I'm going to do. Dritch Richardson is in the building saying salute Stormy and chat. Hope everyone is enjoying this beautiful Sunday. Good morning to you. Good morning. DOG says, I yelled, kill him last night at Wilder. I think it's time for me to chill out. Listen, man. On Wilder and his performance. Because I know people want to, well, what does the sensei think? I think that he was, showing signs of a fighter that is past it. There were openings and he couldn't pull the trigger. He was moving the wrong way the entire time. He was against the southpaw. He was moving the wrong way. He was moving towards Zhang's power hand the whole time. Foot placement wasn't in order. He has to keep his lead left foot outside of Zhang's lead right foot. He wasn't doing that. Technical things here we're talking about. But remember, we were told by Malik Scott that he was sending guys to the hospital in the gym. That doesn't mean anything. Because if you're not learning what you need to be learning, when it's live action, it's going to show. It's going to show. And in live action, nobody's just going to stand there and let you do what you want to do. They're not. Just ask Calvin Ford, because he'll tell you why they wouldn't fight Shakur Stevenson. The Tank Davis camp. Why they wouldn't fight Shakur Stevenson. If you've been on Drew Titan's show, you can hear what he said about the film clip where Coach Calvin talked about it. And salute to Marco, I think, who was the first one to put that out there. Yeah. But see, when I say these things that I say, I can say them from a technical standpoint. It's not putting anybody down. It's just it's pointing out the shortcomings and what should be addressed. Like I said, they can give me the Snoop Dogg look all they want to, but prove me wrong. Ravens Nation, what's good with you? Jimmy Bernard says, Sensei, poor planning against Zhang. It was just a poor situation, a poor assessment of Wilder. Because now the Joseph Parker fight looks even more revealing. What do I mean by that? Parker was there to be hit as well. But Parker isn't as big and strong a man as Zhilei Zhang is. Phone lines open. You want to talk about it? Let's talk about it. Almost 100 views in here. Only 30 likes. They'll look. They'll peep. They'll peep through the blinds in the bushes, won't they? But they won't step out into the sunshine. Why is that, guys? What's with that, stepping back? What's with that? You know what that reminds me of? It reminds me when I was in class as a young person. And the teacher called on people, asked them to answer or solve a problem or whatever. And then everybody don't want to put their hand up. Hope she don't call on me. Hope she don't call on me.
But it's the pressure, though. I understand the pressure, but God built us different. Did you just tell me that?
Oh, I'm sorry. Did I break your concentration?
Where y'all at? Can we get a caller to call in and have a discussion on this?
But Jared can wear these shoes. That's why Jared has it. You understand me?
But Jared ain't asked for it.
Too bad.
You know what the thoughts are for nobody that wants to step up to the plate, right? You know what that means.
Old ass Earth man.
Michael Ray the second, what's going on? I see you out there. Because, you know, I'll say this to you. At the end of the day, you don't even want to, hey, Stormy, let me ask you a couple questions, this or that. You don't, listen, hey.
I don't think you're good enough to avenge your master.
First, take a big step back and literally fuck your own face!
Why? Jab Jamboree in the building. What's happening with you, Act? Hey, Act. I tried to reach out to you. I don't know if I got the right number or whatever, but I was trying to, you know, touch base with you on something. Just letting you know. You can call in if you want, Act, because I know you got something to say about the fights yesterday, and you know, I know you're one of the more grounded men with the assessments of what you see when you watch. Bill say he's trying to call. Sometimes that thing acts a little goofy. Let me test it for you there, Bill. Okay, we got 651 in the building. Is that my brother, Abil?
You know who it is. What's up, man?
Hey, what's happening? Sometimes I have to refresh that page for the Google Voice to get it to get the calls to come in. But we're good now. What's happening?
Man, I'm doing pretty good. Just chilling. Had the chance to enjoy the beautiful weather yesterday. You know, got a lot of stuff out of my system, so I feel pretty good.
Yeah, that's good, man.
So I actually did watch some fights. I wasn't able to finish the entire card because it was a long card. But you know, my assessment. Here's my thing about the Wilder assessment is just that I think that at this point now, I think we've seen the worst out of Deontay Wilder, and the way that he fought against Zhilei Zhang, it really disencouraged me. Like you said before, he wasn't planning his lead foot. Footwork was out of place, and he was always getting consistently hit with Zhilei Zhang's right hand, which leads me to the main question. And I've been actually thinking about this maybe, since yesterday. I've always thought that, that maybe filing Mark Breland was a mistake. And based on what I'm seeing from Wilder, in the last two fights, it's been kind of that way. Now, let me ask you a question. Do you think that firing Mark Breland was a mistake, or do you think it was still the right thing to do? What do you think?
Under the circumstances that led to Breland being let go, I think from a professional standpoint, that was probably a proper thing to do. However, also from a professional standpoint, I think hiring a trusted, tried and true trainer who has a reputation of success with fighters should have been the way to go. Not only because you want to try to be successful in your endeavors going forward, but you want to show that you are willing to do what's necessary to advance beyond your place. And I think that I think that making the changes that he did make were not good enough. They were not. Now, that may come off as hindsight being 20/20. Not for me, it's not. Not for me. Because there's too much available that could have worked out differently for him. In fact, one of the primary people that I had looked at that I thought would have been tremendous and he would have loved to have taken on that opportunity was Nazim Richardson. Nazim was a guru, and he loved Wilder. And we later found out he took ill and he's no longer with us in the flesh. However, someone like that, of that ilk, that respectability, that experience, could have worked leaps and bounds for him. Do you remember what he did for Shane Mosley against Antonio Margarito? Not only did he assist in finding out that Margarito was bringing bad things to the bout, he shined the light on and exposed that. Mosley went on and had a career performance against Margarito as a result. Bernard Hopkins, when he faced Felix Trinidad, same thing. So here you have a tried and true coach, trainer, and I don't know if Nazim did management too, but he could oversee everything that needed to be focused on. so that he could put his fighter in the best position to be successful. Experience untapped. And the whole point of it is he's as solid as they could be. If you don't want that for yourself, get the hell out of here. And he brought that. And if you couldn't have him, because like I said, fate would intervene and he's no longer around in the flesh, that should still be of the ilk and formula that you want for your future successes. Not somebody who's down with you like a brother, huh? Your partner. Because your partner and your brother and your friend, sometimes they can be that and be the best at being that. But they might not be able to tell you, you're wrong, bro. You're not doing the right thing, bro. You need to step back, bro. You need to pick it up, bro. You need to stop that, bro. You feel me? So, think about who were your best instructors when you were in class as a kid growing up in school. Am I lying?
Nope.
Because the best of your instructors always demanded the best out of you. Sometimes they'll come across as if they didn't like you, but they were driving you because they wanted you to man up, not because they didn't like you, because you're a boy that's going to one day grow to adulthood. They only want you to become a man. Notice how I didn't say that you're a boy growing to one day become a man, because some boys never become men. You hear me?
Yes, sir.
So these are the kind of things. So when you ask me that question, what a wonderful question. Did I answer it?
Yes, you did. Yeah, you answered it on the money, because I think that looking at it now, hiring Malik Scott, yeah, it was one of the people that he appreciated, but I don't think that he was the right trainer for him to give him the honest assessment and the honest critiques to help Wilder become the best that he can be. If you brought in Nazim Richardson, like you said, or even I can go far as like if Emmanuel was still in good health back then. Oh my God, he would have done exactly what Emmanuel Stewart did for Lennox Lewis in terms of teaching him how to properly use a better stance and use the jab, and then working with him and using his right hand more. And I think that we're seeing now that the proper teaching here in American boxing is poor. It needs to be better, because we're seeing a lot of talented fighters not getting the proper teaching, and they're getting outboxed by other international fighters that have better fundamentals and better footwork than American boxers.
You know what was interesting last night about the Dubois-Hrgovic fight? Hrgovic was trained by Ronnie Shields.
Mm-hmm.
Now, is that a slap at Ronnie Shields, the performance that he gave, or is it a slap at Philippe, who I now call Philip? He's earned that. Philip. Is it a slap at Philip and what he brought? Think about that for a moment before you answer, but I would like to hear your answer.
That's a good question. Very good question.
It's an easy question to answer. We've known and seen whom Ronnie Shields has worked with. We've known and seen Ronnie Shields in the past, the lineage of teaching that he's come from. We've known and seen and heard about Ronnie Shields' own professional career. So it's not like he's unaware of things. But he can only do so much with whom he's working for. Efe Ajagba and he had a separation. They broke ties. Ajagba went on his way. Ronnie continued to do what he does. Sometimes that happens when one guy just doesn't want to listen and doesn't want to break down and do it the way his coach, his boss, wants him to do it. Now, yes, you hire a trainer, but when you hire a trainer to prepare you, and we're talking about professional sports here, he becomes your boss, even though you've hired him. Why? Because you're paying him to do a service to you that will put you at your best. Now, if he's not doing that, of course, a separation may be in order. But if you're feeling like, oh, he's driving me too hard. Oh, he's always in my business. Oh, he's trying to tell me what to do and this and that, then it's you who have the issues, not the coach. Not the coach. So last night, Hrgovic found that he could hit Danny Dubois at will with right hands. They weren't missing. It's amazing that Dubois could take the shots. It was crazy how he was walking through that stuff. But he had a mission for Hrgovic, because Hrgovic said some nasty things about him leading up through the promotion, about their past history. But I could imagine that Shields was trying to tell Hrgovic, use the jab. Use the jab. Use the jab. Keep that right hand in reserve because you can hit him anytime you want to drop it. Start pumping that jab, hook off the jab sometimes. Double that hook, head to the body, body to the head. Step around him. Turn him. Keep him turning. Get him drunk with the activity. And then after because you don't try to knock a guy out in 2 or 3 rounds. That's what Mike Tyson's problem was. Always trying to get you the fastest knockout as I could get to you. But once you got him past 5 rounds, Mike Tyson, do you know that Mike Tyson didn't have no knockouts past the 7th round in his career? That's because he don't have it over an extended period. He can still be strong, but his focus is not there to be trying to knock you out in the 12th or the 10th. He gets knocked out in the 10th. You see? So what he was supposed to do is keep Dubois accustomed to being hit until after a few rounds, then you drop that heat on him. Because when you put him down then, he won't get up. It's what George Foreman did to Michael Moorer. He talked about it. He said, I had a feeling like if I hit him and hurt him early, that all he'll do is get up and run for me for the rest of the fight. But I got him accustomed to, I don't present that big of a threat. And in the 10th round, boom! And Moore was flat on his back, and the fight was over, and George Foreman made history. Michael Moore said it was a lucky shot. Well, let me tell you about lucky shots. Who the hell puts their chin in front of the shotgun willingly?
Right.
That's either luck or dumb luck. Huh? Yeah! See, I say these things because it is evident, bro. Like I said, people don't want to hear the truth. Take your ass on outside. It's a beautiful day. Listen to the birds chirp and everything and suck in the fresh air and all of that, because the air is going to get a little stale in here. And it's not because of what I'm spewing, but it's about what you're taking in. Yeah. So that was the Dubois fight in a nutshell. Now, that trainer of his, Don Charles, who he got like 4 fights ago or whatever, that's been working with him a little while. He brought a different trainer in to do pad work with him. I did a video about it. I said, this guy's working with Dubois very well. But what he should also do is bring someone in that can teach him nuances of defense, because it's obvious that Mr. Charles that's not his forte. But he does seem to have Dubois' attention and focus, which is very primary. So he needs someone to help him come in there and learn how to not take shots so clean and flush. It's a team effort, because one guy don't always know it all. This is why you bring specialists in to do certain things. But to answer again, what, the changes that could have been made in the Wilder camp, the opportunities were there. It's just that the vision and where they wanted to be, the sights weren't set high enough. They weren't. And you see you see the fruits of the labor. That's what that is. And that's tough love, because hey, if you stink, if your armpits smell like you've been boiling onions, I'm going to tell you, you need to get in the bathtub, bro. I ain't going to sit up there and hold my breath. I'm a damn fool if I do that. I'm going to sit up and say, hey, man, get your ass in the tub. You're ripe. Do what I'm saying make sense to you? If it don't, you can tell me. Abel.
You're exactly right,
Yeah.
man. Yep, you're exactly right, Stormy, man. You're absolutely correct.
Yeah. What else you got for me?
Yeah, that's pretty much what I had to say about it, brother. Like, the teaching's got to be better. And, at the end of the day, everything across the board in American boxing has got to be better. They have to do better. Because if we don't, because a lot of these trainers are not doing their due diligence to help train the fighter, and if the fighter's not willing to listen to the teaching to make them better, then you're going to end up with the same results over and over again. I think about, about Meldrick Taylor and what he could have been, because I watched several of his fights last week, and I thought to myself, if he had better training and teaching him how to defend and how to utilize his speed better, man, he could have been great.
Who you talking about?
Because he took Meldrick Taylor.
No. Meldrick, his problem wasn't poor defense. His problem wasn't poor defense. His problem was his refusal to do the things that were best for him, according to what his trainers told him. Now, Meldrick had a heavyweight's heart and determination, but he was a lightweight fighter. He was never really a welterweight. But at lightweight, he was one of the most blazing, amazing fighters, reminiscent of a young Sugar Ray Leonard, reminiscent of a Henry Armstrong. He could do some things, but his discipline wasn't there. And so he wanted to move up because he knew better than everybody else, and he was a guy that, again, you couldn't hold him back. And he paid the cost for it. If Meldrick has stayed if he has stayed at lightweight, Sweep P may not have had the success that he ended up having at lightweight. Because Mel was just amazing and blazing. Don't forget, he fought Chavez at 140. That should have been his maxed out weight, 140. But when he went up to 147 and then later tried 154 at Terry Norris and stuff like that, it was ridiculous.
Yeah.
See, one of the things I want to say this. Think about it like this. Devin Haney has finally joined the junior welterweight division. He fought almost a decade at lightweight, right? From turning pro and even at being an amateur, just turning pro, he basically fought that long, right? But he's 25, going on 26 now or whatever. So a decade at that weight. Meldrick wasn't a decade at lightweight. He didn't spend 5 or 6 years at 140. What I'm trying to say to you is this. It requires discipline. Discipline. Marvin Hagler won the middleweight title. And he remained a middleweight his entire career. He was so good at it that even before he fought Sugar Ray Leonard, they were saying, hey, Marvin, why not move up to light heavyweight? Because there was no super middleweight division at this particular time that I'm speaking of. They were asking Hagler, why don't you move up to light heavyweight and fight Michael Spinks? And Hagler was like, no, I'm a middleweight. Hagler was like 5'9", okay? And he was all muscle at 160 pounds. Matter of fact, a lot of times Hagler weighed in low at middleweight, 156, 157, 158. He could have made junior middleweight when it became a junior middleweight division. You know what I'm saying? He could have done that. But
right.
Hagler stayed in shape. And staying in shape means that even when you're not fighting, you keep your weight within the distance of the scales so that you don't have to sacrifice camps by losing weight before you get into training for who you're facing. See, that's what the old professionals used to do. These guys today, let's use Tank Davis as an example. They don't even be staying around the weight class when they're not fighting. They will blow up, and then they have fat camps. You're doing so much to your body from being undisciplined. You're doing worse to your body than what happens in a damn fight. Because
right.
when you're in shape and in condition for fights, you can slip, you can move, you can get out of the way, you can do the things that you need to do. You know how Drew Titan say on his channel, move! That's what a fighter needs to be able to do. But if you land up with all the honeys, spending all that money, living off and burning the candle at both ends, the next hungry dude up is out there ready to take all of that away from you. Yeah. Another thing that people don't want to hear, but it's a fact.
Yep. Yep, exactly. That's 100% a fact. And it just shows again what our mentality, what the mentality is in today's boxing. But thanks a lot, Stormybman, man. I appreciate the conversation. It's really another well diverse, response. And I just hope that, I just hope that American boxers do better in the near future.
Absolutely.
There's a lot of talent out there. But we don't got good coaching, and if the fighter ain't willing to listen, it's going to be plateaued. Just where it is at this point.
Absolutely, man. Appreciate your call, brother. Don't be a stranger.
Yes, sir. Have a great day.
You too. Peace. Yeah. Mahari Nation Sports Podcast with the first call of the day. What's happening? Appreciate your call, Abel. Great call. My brother KG is out there. He's telling Abel to wrap it up. So, hey, KG, you want to call in? I know you may have some gems to drop as well. So I welcome you if you're out there, bro. He told Abel, wrap it up. I had halted my little boogie woogie for the call. I'll get back to my boogie woogie. You know, I like to have my little boogie woogie playing while I'm chatting it up with you guys. Unless a call comes in, then I put that on mute, you know. Yeah. There we go. Okay, we got 804 in the building. Is that my brother KG? What's happening?
Said, Mama, there go that man again. What's going on, something?
How you doing this morning, bro? How you doing?
I'm doing good, man. Riding around, I was listening to, you know what I'm saying, the first part of the show, but I was on a phone call, so I missed the beginning of the show because I wanted to call in early, go ahead and get you in before you actually started, like when you were breaking down the fights before you have to double back, you know what I'm saying, when I jump on. So,
oh, no, it's all good. It's all good, man.
Yeah, I already know. Yeah, I'm already knowing. So that's why I was fine with still calling in at the time that I called in.
Mm-hmm.
But how you doing? You good? Did you enjoy the 5 versus 5?
I did, man. I really did, because as I explained at the beginning of the show, if you did not hear that part, I asked everybody, you know, who were in when I first went live. I said, how many of you all watched the card live? Because I know some people may have had to work or sleep, different time frames or whatever. But the reason I asked that was I wanted to find out how many people watched it live and how you felt about what you were seeing, because this was a situation where it was a full card of 50-50 fights.
Yes.
And that's something that we're not getting on a regular basis. And I wanted to point that out early because I want people to understand what you were looking at. Even if the guy that you wanted to win didn't win, that doesn't mean that this was bad promotion. It was good promotion, if not damn near great, because they were putting guys in scenarios where they had to step up and show their wares. This was not a guy going against somebody on paper that he's supposed to take care of and stuff like that. This was a situation of guys having to really get the job done. And there was a tussle. Nobody just relented and gave in. Everybody was like chomping at the bit trying to win. But this is what happens when you put quality in against quality. That I cannot overstate, because we're not getting it enough in the sport of boxing. I even used Christian and Billy's fight from a week ago of how he was in there with that guy with Mark Heffron that didn't belong in the ring with him. They would have been better served to bring Billy into this tournament and let him fight somebody. You know what I'm saying? That would have been the kind of thing of like what I'm trying to express here. One moment while I acknowledge this super chat from the brother Universal Truth. He says, salute Sensei, proud of Wilder and everything he accomplished against all odds. Appreciate that super chat there, Universal. Thank you so much, bro. But yeah, go ahead, KG.
What you saying that let's look at this Nick Ball and Raymond Ford fight.
Mm-hmm.
I took from that fight, and I was saying it backstage, but I don't know if I was heard or not. I said, and this was at the end of the result when everybody was like, no, Ray won, and they was like, no, Nick won. They was like, no, it should have been a draw. I felt like the right man won.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And I say that because I'm gonna speak metaphorically. You go to radio station. You get in my car. I set the radio station to my station. You don't like what I'm playing, so you try to get a way to convince me to change the station, or you figure out how to distract me so you can change the station. Am I correct?
Right.
Raymond Ford never did that. Like every time he looked good, I was like, yeah, he looked good. But he never changed the station or never attempted to change the station. He kept dancing to the same music that Nick Ball was dancing to, giving Nick Ball the opportunity to get back in rhythm, to take the fight back into his tone. So Raymond Ford never swung the fight into his tone. He had spots where he looked good, but he couldn't maintain any continuity there to make it stick. He couldn't make it stick. And I was like, he's looking good in spots, but Nick Ball, to me, was a better put together Pitbull Cruz.
And guess what? There was another fight on the card that played out quite similarly. It was the fight between Hutchinson and Richards. Richard looked okay in certain spots. Mm-hmm. Not as much as Ford did, but it's the same scenario. That even once Hutchinson hit the wall, because he had never been beyond 7 rounds before. Mm-hmm. When he hit that wall, that was Richards' chance to step up and make something happen. And he just wouldn't do it. I didn't say couldn't. I say he just wouldn't do it. You know why? Mm-hmm. Because that's a point of you selling out, meaning like you go for it. Some fighters don't have that in them, and you can't force it. You can't push it. You can't try to trick them into it or whatever. They ain't going, you know? Mm-hmm. And it's an interesting dynamic because it says a lot about the individual. That's why they talking about, Raymond Ford, he's going to go on up to the next division, you know, and he's going to become a world champion. No, he's not. No, he's not. Guess what? You done seen the best of Raymond Ford, because if a real coach and trainer and their charge watched what we saw and has the aptitude like I have to tell the truth, he should never have a belt around his waist again, because he can't, let me finish, he can't even defend what he brought in last night. And if his mind was on just moving up, he should not have taken the fight. If you want to say, well, he needed the money, everybody needs a dime. But if you're going to go out there, you go out there and you turn back the Nick Ball challenge, because you're a champion and you should be respected as such. You just made a limited guy a world champion when you have more talent than that limited guy. But that limited guy has more cojones than you have talent. Tell me I'm wrong, KG.
No, you're not wrong at all. And Raymond Ford solidified that at the end of his fight when they asked him what happened. He said it. I wasn't listening to my corner. So he said it so. My coach was there. They were giving me good tools. I just wasn't listening. See, that's where he messed up in the game, and he got caught up in listening to what Nick Ball was there going to put him out there, and he couldn't find himself. So I fully agree with you what you're saying. He's not going to have a title because, like I said, he has some boxes he needs to check off before he can even think about accomplishing something of that feat and actually being somebody that we can look to and say, yeah, he's a champion, instead of a guy just wearing a belt. Because there's a difference. Yep. We got guys that just that's able to pick up a belt just at the right place at the right time. And then we got actually belt holders, actual champions, guys that actually, you know what I'm saying, they put their stamp on it. And Raymond Ford showed me that, you know what I'm saying, I know he's young, but at the same time, you've been boxing longer than a lot of people, because I started late when I started boxing. But these kids have been doing it since they were kids. So when they say, oh, I was young, no, you're a lot older in boxing years than most people. Mm-hmm. So you should be able to make those adjustments. Your IQ should be there. Or it was to a topic, you know what I'm saying, that I know we're going to talk about when we get deeper into, you know what I'm saying, to the bigger fights. Trainers, and me, you said the same thing, Stormy. Trainers need to be able to break their fighters. Mm-hmm. steal from them what they deem to be great in their self, and let them know that they ain't shit.
Yep.
To a certain degree, and then build them back up from the opposite side.
That's right.
If you're a defensive minded fighter, I need to break you away from that and make you offensive, and let you come back to your defense. If you're an offensive fighter, I need to break you out of that and make you defensive. If you're a left-handed fighter, I need to steal that left hand from you and make you a right-handed fighter. These coaches, like you said, we've talked about this for weeks, Stormy. These coaches, they're not coaching. They just have a towel over their shoulder.
Yep. And the worst part of that is, like, you know, a perfect example is what you just said. If you're a right-handed fighter, I'm going to make you fight with your left. If you're a left-hand fighter, I'm going to make you fight with your right. I'm going to put you in the scenarios of discomfort so that you learn what it means to be able to make adjustments. Because the climate is not always going to be palatable for you to be able to lay back and relax. You're going to be able to dictate. You're going to be able to adjust to someone else trying to dictate. You're going to be able to take something. You're going to be able to give something. All of this. And just like in my conversation with Abel talking about when you were in school, your best teachers and instructors were always those who gave you the hardest time. Always. Because they wanted the best out of all of you, meaning the entire class. You specific. Because sometimes teachers have their favorites, but they should never want for you to half-ass it at all. And they should always show that drive to make you be the best that you can be. Remember, I said being a boy that is one day going to grow into adulthood, these people can shape and help assist with forming your future for you. And understand, as I said a moment ago, I said, just because you're a boy and you go into adulthood, that does not mean that you're going to be a boy that becomes a man. How many young, immature men do we see out here in life? Think about it.
Way too many.
Exactly. So just because they grew hair, and they began to have intimate relations, that doesn't make you that. It's the things that are formed and developed and cultivated inside of you that makes that transition. Why do you think when you see a caterpillar that becomes a butterfly, it goes into that what state? The cocoon?
Cocoon state.
And then it forms, and when that cocoon opens up, the butterfly comes out, right? But it came from inside. It wasn't always a caterpillar, and it wasn't always a butterfly. There was a transition period. Coaches and trainers need to assist in helping their fighters to learn that, to be able to transition, which is what Deontay Wilder never did. Now, I love Wilder as a man and what he's brought out of his whole life-determined situation that we've learned of.
I love that part.
And he'll never stop being a part of my intros and my backdrops and stuff like that. However, I am always going to speak factual about this because, like I said, on countless occasions, I've worked with guys in the gym and everything. And I would be a hypocrite to not be able to pontificate exactly what is. And I can do that without tearing somebody down.
Exactly. And I feel you wholeheartedly on that. You've heard me say this before too, Stormy. I always give, like, when a fighter changes trainers, I give them a three fight run through for that trainer's philosophy to fully rub off, and we get to see what we get from that fighter and that trainer's new relationship, what has stuck, what has stayed, and what do we see moving forward as far as promise? You know what I'm saying? As far as the new philosophy, as far as the new evolution, as far as the new tutelage, as far as the new level of consistency that may be, you know what I'm saying, maybe, you know what I'm saying, may be enforced. I'm feeling that same way with Malik Scott right now. We're 4 fights in. One fight I really don't count Stormy because it was a long time sparring partner. So I know his habits. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But the other three fights, let's say 2 fights, because the first fight he was tasked with a title fight, being a head trainer for the first time. So I know that's a tall order, you know what I'm saying, to take on. But at the same time, we've built up a relationship that you only hear my voice, you move to the beat, you know what I'm saying, of the drum that I tap on.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not seeing that going forward. I'm seeing a fighter that has, you know what I'm saying, declined on me. And I'm not going to point it at age because Zhang was 41 years old.
Right.
So I'm pointing the finger a lot, you know what I'm saying? Of course the fighter, but I'm pointing the finger more so at the training, like what was being taught. And I've seen a lot of bad habits being that made it to the ring. And it still has made it to the ring to this day. During training camp, I know he was playing around, but he kept doing this spin move. And I kept telling somebody, I said, bro, I don't like that spin move. I said, and they were like, why? They was like, he's just having fun. I said, I understand. I said, but that's a habit that can make it to the ring indirectly. I said, and sure enough, it looked like it made it to the ring last night when he did the turn.
That spin move and got hit, and the fight was over.
The fight was over.
All at once.
And then another point that I've been pointing out for a long time, Stormy, and Stormy, you've worked in gyms. You've held mitts before, right?
Yeah, of course.
You've had guys that hit hard as damn, you know what I'm saying, a damn mule. You know what I'm saying? You can kick a damn engine block out of a damn truck. That's how hard they hit. You felt some of those punches before, right?
Yes.
Is at a point that you stop selling that punch to that fighter, like letting them know that it affects you. You learn to catch it better.
Right.
You go buy better mitts that can absorb that shock. Because I have to stop selling this to him because whether he sees it or not, the brain is taking pictures. The brain is taking pictures for me that every time I land this right hand, I'm supposed to see this reaction. I'm supposed to see this reaction every time I land this right hand. He didn't get that reaction out of Zhang. So that can be deflating, you know what I'm saying, psychologically. It can be deflating that when you throw that right hand and you be like, damn, I'm not getting the same kickback that damn Malik is giving me every time I land this right hand. Malik jumps back like I'm really throwing him back every time.
Well, first of all, there was a lot of, my goodness, man. I could do a full Tuesday Tussle, a couple of Tuesday Tussle episodes out of this this match and what was happening there. But I spoke earlier in this broadcast about even the foot alignment wasn't right.
Nope.
The footwork, it was off. He never kept his lead foot outside of Zhang's lead foot. He was moving the wrong way. He was moving right into Zhang's power. He was playing the bat game with Zhang, that batting and pawing at each other's lead hand. You don't get to do that to my fighters. You don't get to, because see, you know how they tell you, you don't stick your arm out there to, reach to judge a distance, right? You snap your jab out and you step with your jab, right? Even if you're stepping back, you step back with your jab. Well, how many guys have you seen in the sport presently that can step back with the jab? You don't see a lot of that anymore because that's a technique that's taught in the gym that's not being transferred amongst these younger guys of today. But what I'm getting at in talking about this is this, that batting and touching each other like that, you see, that might be what Zhang wanted to do, but Wilder played the game with him. It's like, why are you doing that? When he sticks that arm out there to bat and tap at you, you throw a left hook over that sucker or a right hand over it or a left hook to the body or a left hook to the head. You do something to make him.
I was going to say that. Change the level.
Yep.
Change the level.
Make him bring that damn hand back home because yours should always be at home. You understand? But, again, have you ever seen Wilder put his guard up and walk towards somebody? No. You know why? Because he doesn't know how to throw short punches. Again, there's a clinic that I could give on these things. Malik Scott, yeah, right. All you need to know about him is be shown the damn tape of Deontay knocking his head off. That's all you need to know about him. Now, I had said that I didn't want to go in on him, but the more, but the more that his name comes up and people want to talk, I'll rip that dude to shreds. Because you know what? The fakeness. Get out of my face with the bullshit.
Exactly.
You got the damn hardest puncher in heavyweight history. And he can't even get off.
Nope.
I want to know. I want to know. You know what? I want to know a list of the sparring partners. I want to know. I want to know the list of the sparring partners. I want to know who they are and why. Why? Because there's a lot that could have been done, but by the time the first bell to the first round rang, I'm looking at man. I was on there with you guys last night.
Yeah.
But I was quiet as a mouse.
I was on the move though. I was on the move, so I couldn't really say anything either.
No, but I was quiet as a mouse because I'm looking at this, man. I was like, would you look at this bullshit?
Yep.
And the thing about it is, this is the worst that you gonna hear me say, and I ain't gonna talk about him no more in this show.
I got you.
And I'm talking about Malik Scott.
Mm-hmm.
You ain't gonna never hear him say, I fucked up. Tell me I'm wrong.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong at all. Not wrong at all. I want to tell you that you're wrong because I've watched Malik Scott, you know what I'm saying, based off of how he studies tape, how he, like I said, but at the same time, I don't know what the relationship is once we get into the camp. I don't know if there's playing around. I don't know if it's buddy or if it's them. I don't know when to turn this switch off, and that's the damn difference. People said, somebody asked me, they said, can your homeboy be your trainer? I said, yeah. I said, you got to know. I said, but y'all got to know that when we walk through this door right here, that switch turns off, and you're my student. You're my fighter. You're my this. You're no longer my friend, my homeboy that we kicking it with, sitting on the porch and laughing and joking and stuff. We come in here, we can have fun, but we're not here to have fun. So understand what the difference is, and I want to know if there's a difference there because it's like, I don't know, Deontay still does a lot of things that he wants to do, and it's easy for him to resort back to the things that he's used to doing. And I don't see, you know what I'm saying, where Malik really had a voice like that stood out, that was recognizable for him to change the tone at any point of the fight. I didn't see any of that, you know what I'm saying, and I haven't seen it in the last 4 fights. The first fight, we got what we got, but at the same time, based on how he prefaced leading up to that fight, I was like, man, damn, Malik might be on to something. But I didn't see it in that third fight. I seen more grit in Wilder, but I seen more grit in Wilder because it was the grit in Wilder. I didn't see Malik Scott. The next fight, we didn't get a chance to see anything because the fight ended in the first round and Wilder only threw 3 punches. You know what I'm saying? So we didn't get a chance to really see, you know what I'm saying, the works there. So then we get to the Joseph Parker fight, and I see a killer on his back foot the whole fight. And I was like, what's going on here? Why am I seeing this? Why am I not seeing an active jab? It don't have to land. You know I'm big on offensive traffic. Why are we not producing any what's going on? I seen more offensive traffic in this fight, but at the same time, you're dealing with a smarter fighter that's not going to press forward on you like that until he feels and knows that he can come forward. That's the damn thing about, look, we should talk about older fighters that are better than their younger selves. I believe old George was better than young George. I believe old Shannon Briggs is better than young Shannon Briggs.
Yep.
I believe the older Zilly Zhang that I saw coming into boxing is way better now than he was then.
Yep.
Because of the patience and timing.
The older Ray Mercer was better than the younger Ray Mercer.
Yes, he was way, yes.
Yeah, absolutely. Matter of fact, the fight that was a turning point for Ray Mercer's career was when he lost to Larry Holmes, because Larry embarrassed him and gave him a boxing lesson that taught him that you don't play boxing. Do you remember during that fight, there was a moment where Larry was near the ropes. He was picking his shots and just catching Mercer coming in at will with combinations. Jab, jab, right hand, jab, jab, right hand. And Larry looked at the damn camera outside the ring and said, watch this. I ain't Tommy Morrison. Whap! And hit Ray Mercer with a few punches. It was like he embarrassed Mercer and won a unanimous decision. The next couple of fights out, when you saw Ray Mercer had a jab all of a sudden. The jab was always there, but he wouldn't use it because he wanted to go in and be strong and overwhelm guys with his strength. Now, Ray he could punch, but he was more heavy-handed than a knockout puncher, so he was a strong man. But that jab, when he learned how to shoot it and work it, he became a different fighter. He's the one fighter that I thought beat Lennox Lewis, and they gave Lennox Lewis that split decision against him. But I said it was Ray's fault because he went into that fight and didn't get in the top condition that he could have gotten in. If he had lost another 10 pounds, he would have beat, if not even knocked out, Lennox Lewis, because he was the right type of man and fighter for Lennox, but he didn't do the things he needed to do, and Lennox got that decision and never looked back. You never hear Lennox talk about Ray Mercer or whatever, because guess what? Ray was a real fighter, man. He was. But outside the ring, there was a lot of things mentally and everything that took away. He could have been much better. He could have been better than Tyson. He could have been better than a lot of the other guys of that era. He would have never been better than Holyfield. But he could have been better than what he was.
Mm-hmm. Yep. But I don't know, man. I don't know. I was more so pointing my finger at the damn trainer just go around. I really was.
Yeah.
I was like, come on, man. What are we doing? I said, we 4 fights in. And I say that.
And you see the difference in Danny Dubois after being with Don Charles with 3 or 4 fights?
Yeah.
You see the difference in him?
He's still hittable, though. That's the thing.
That's what I said earlier in this show. I said he needs to bring someone in to teach Dubois some defensive nuances, how to protect himself better. Because that's all that's missing. That's all that's missing with Dubois. He needs that. You know who I would call? I would call Teddy Atlas. And the reason that I would call Teddy Atlas, some people may think this is far off, but it's not. If I were Don Charles, I'd call Teddy Atlas and ask him, could you please come in and help us teach Danny some of the nuances of Cuss's peekaboo defense? Because Teddy could teach it. Because you want him to not take punches clean. You want him to be able to slip shots and counter off of the slips. Because he has the athleticism to be able to do it, but he's still a little stiff because nobody's taught him how to move. But who
taught his damn sister how to move?
Well, this is
He
the
moved
thing.
her head.
Well, listen, this is the thing. Again, there are some people, you have to put them through certain, you have to put them through channels to pick these things up. It's obvious that Dubois hasn't been put through those. We used to joke that somebody should send him a focus ball from our brother Healer, the teacher, because if he put one of those in the gym, it'll help his ass a whole hell of a lot. You know what I mean? And we joked about that, but it's true. He needs that kind of work. And I'm telling you, if he gets that, that's your heavyweight of the future.
Because he's heavy-handed.
He's heavy-handed. He can punch. He showed last night he can take a punch. It's all psychological and mental. He walked through the best of Hrgovic, and Hrgovic was hitting his ass. But he had a mission. He was on a mission because Hrgovic had disrespected him. And he came and he rose to the occasion. But yeah, let me get this super chat from my brother Trill Will out there. He says, salute, Stormy. Salute to you, Trill Will. Appreciate you, bro. And salute to BFTB out there. What's up with you, bro? I see you out there. But yeah, those are the things, KG, that I'm saying.
Hey, Stormy, look, I ain't hear much last night, but I did hear you when you said, you was like, Hrgovic's going to get tired from landing too many punches.
Yeah.
That's that crazy shit right there. I'm able to land these punches. Look, you're going to get sucked into that system thinking, well, I can land. If I can touch him, I can hit him. If I can hit him, I can hurt him. If I can hurt him, I can knock. And that's what he was driving to, and it wasn't working.
But you see,
this
is why you don't go out there to try to knock somebody out. And that's what Hrgovic thought he was going to do. He thought, I'm going to knock him out in a few rounds. And he fought like it. You set a knockout up. What are you always told? It's the punch that you don't see that can get you, right?
You don't see.
So Dubois saw them right hands coming, and he said, so hit me with another one.
Yep.
However, if Hrgovic had switched up, and I mentioned this earlier in this broadcast, I said if he had switched up and just started boxing Daniel, just box him, shoot your jab, step over to the side, hit him with something, couple body shots, tie him up, let the ref break you, go back, reset, and then after like 5 rounds or 6, then you start putting some mustard on some shots, and you start putting combinations together. But remember, it's a marathon. It's not a foot race, and you got a lot of guys out here that are fighting like that. You go out there trying to knock somebody out, they're going to get your ass because they'll get you because you've given them the opportunity.
And you've hit them with the kitchen sink already.
Yep.
So I've taken your hardest punch.
Yep.
Take it. Yeah. I know what you got. You ain't got it no more past this round.
I laughed when I saw Tyson Fury blowing off those shots by Usyk early, slapping his chin and stuff because Usyk hit him with some stuff. But what happened was Usyk put some mustard on them punches after a few rounds. He was touching him early. Touch him to the body. Touch him to the head with the jab. Touch him with the overhand. He wasn't trying to knock Fury out, but he was scoring. Then all of a sudden in that one round, he hits Fury with that overhand left. Boom! And Fury first, his reaction was like it was early in the fight, like, hit me again. But then he was like, what the fuck? And he started stumbling. And next thing you know, Usyk got him. You understand? Because Usyk knows how to fight. And what I love about him, a couple of guys from a UK channel, I can't remember their names right now, I give them credit. They pointed something out about how Usyk fights. Usyk will put together a couple of rounds, and then he doesn't take the round off, but he conserves himself to come back in another round or two with the same shit so it don't look like he dropped off. And it's not like take a round off, come back this round. No, what it is he's keeping something ready in case he needs it, and it's very smart as an experienced fighter to do these things. Now you look at the two top UK heavyweights in Fury and AJ, he's beaten both of them, actually quite easily. And what it says, it's like size don't matter, just like he said. If you know how to fight, you know how to fight. Evander Holyfield did beat Riddick Bowe in their rematch when he boxed him. When he tried to stand toe-to-toe in the first and the third fights, he gets stopped and get beat up by Bowe because that was to Bowe's advantage. But when he used his Olympic experience and his footwork and his combination punches, which he had that was always there, he beat Bowe easily. So again, when you have the book, when you have the pages of studied knowledge, you can apply these sciences and they work. It's tried and true throughout history. I'm not telling you something that just, Stormy just created this on the spot. No, there's a lineage of historical data and facts that can support what I'm saying right now. The information's out there. Salute to the village brother out there in that super chat. He says, facts, OG, not many fighters are setting up the KO. No, they're not. And you know, when a fighter sets things up, let's look at it like this. Before you sit down to eat, do you not set the table?
Correct.
Right? You set the table.
Correct.
You got your plate, you got your forks and knives, you got your salt and pepper on the table, whatever condiments you may need. Then you put your food on your plate, you sit down and you have dinner. That's called setting the table. Well, in boxing, it has always been a rule of thumb to set the table. Mm-hmm. Why are these guys busting out the gate? And in life, like I said, I can marry the sport of boxing with what happens in everyday life. When you get your girl, are you trying to just go buck wild and have that moment? No. There's a little lead up, right? A little foreplay, a little bit of this and a little bit of that to make everything nicer, right? That's setting the table.
Mm-hmm.
So where am I wrong in this? Salute to Champion Heart out there with the super chat. He says, salute Sensei Stormybman and my brothers and sisters in the chat. KG, much respect. Let me get in before Sensei closes the show.
hey, champ. I'm gonna let him in, but Stormy, he won't let me get off. He's talking. He did it to me right there, so I'm just listening. So don't put this on me right there. No, but Stormy, I'm gonna go ahead and let you jump on with Champion Heart, and because I just pulled up to a restaurant, so I'm gonna go grab something to eat. And it's always a pleasure to tap in on what's current in boxing.
Yes, sir.
And talking actually real boxing, not just cute shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. I'll talk to you next time.
All right, brother. You have a blessed day, man.
All right, you too.
All right, peace. Yeah, Champion Heart line is open, bro, if you want to call in. He say, let him get in there. Yeah. All right, let's see what we got here. Okay, we got 817 in the building. Is that the brother Champion Heart?
My brother, Champion Heart, brother, a.k.a. Cooking with the Champ, man. What's up, my brother?
How you doing, man?
It's all good, man.
Hey, I like that when you chime in. You tell KG, hey man, let me get in there and get my piece before Stormy sign off. What you doing? Hogging the telephone. Great stuff, man.
No,
Great stuff.
man. Yeah, much love to that brother KG, man. I was just trying to get in because I got a load, man. I got to get on the highway. So I was like, man, let me get in here so I can, before I get rolling.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, it's funny because brothers like, KG, and then, like we had Ack Reacher out there, and, these brothers, they got smart boxing minds, and I love having conversations with them because they know what they're talking about. And it's funny because, a casual observer, they can have their psychological thoughts about things, and, it don't hit home. Because they get emotionally attached to things and stuff, but when you're speaking with people who kind of understand from a different vantage point, you can really get to the meat of a subject and conversation when you're talking about this good boxing. And I know you're one as well, so I enjoy talking to you guys.
Yeah, most definitely, because you and I we talk behind the scenes as well, so we always get some good conversation in. Mm-hmm. But man, one of the fights. I want to talk about, of course, I want to talk about Wilder and before, but one of the fights that was driving me crazy, man, and I was yelling at my tablet, and it was driving me crazy. It was the Ammo Williams fight.
Oh, man.
And when and at the same time that I was yelling at him, when he went back to the corner, Coach Cunningham said the same thing. Man, you not working on nothing we did. And I know Coach Cunningham was working on the inside game. And for him not to be in that guy's chest, man, you know what I'm saying? I mean, that fight right there, man, you spoke about Tyson's peekaboo style. That right there, that was the fight where that was most needed, man. If no other fight was needed, that fight is where it was most needed, man. He, and I understood. I was like, because I was yelling at my tablet, and I was like, man, I understand. I know it's hard. I've been there, but you gotta get inside.
Right.
You gotta get inside. And stay in that guy's chest. And when he backs up, he needs to be blocking punches, not throwing punches.
Yeah, and he wasn't doing any body work. Ammo. He wasn't doing any body work because, of course, the guy had the high guard and his elbows tucked. But you can get around and under them elbows from time to time. You know what I mean? But it's a certain kind of way that you got to work it. And but you know what? I saw this coming for Ammo Williams. Not necessarily this fight, but I saw it when he stepped up. And, of course, this was a step-up level fight for him because everyone else he had faced up until yesterday had been fighters that he was favored to defeat. But this was a fight where on paper you weren't certain because, first of all, you didn't know enough about Shiraz. But at the same time, you don't know enough about Ammo, but unless you've been watching him. And I said, I talked to Shawa on the Friday night chop session. We talked about it. I said, Ammo is always wide open, like a summer screen door. It's like he's wide open. And a guy who could take advantage of stuff like that, he gonna pay dearly. And did you see that first knockdown that Shiraz got to him? It was amazing that was so close to the end of the round because he would have knocked him out in that round.
Yes, yeah.
That was a short right hand that he hit him with like a hook. He never saw it. Right. And he was walking forward and walked right into that shot. I was like, ooh, and he went down and his body turned a certain kind of way. I was like, it's over for him. And it was just, a round or two later that he stopped him?
Round two later, yeah. Cunningham threw the towel in, man, and that was it, man. But I could feel Cunningham's frustration, man. I could definitely feel his frustration, man. Another fight was the Ford Bell fight.
Oh man,
that was a good fight, man. But this cat, man, at the interview with the end of the fight, and that fight really could have gone either way, man. But his mentality was like,
no, champ. Let me stop you right there, champ. I'm going to say this, and please don't take offense to it, but I'm trying to turn a light bulb on here.
Okay.
Stop saying a fight could have gone either way. The fight,
close.
No. The fight went the way it was supposed to go. The right guy won the decision because the other guy, Ford, didn't do enough of what he could have done to make the outcome different. And you don't give pity points for guys who do not do what's necessary. And then even he, after the fight, admitted to not listening to his cornermen. What the hell are you paying them for? You see? And so too many times we have become a compliant society where we give passive ways of allowing people to remain. If you fucked up, you fucked up. But I'm not gonna say, well, yeah, they could have given it to. No, he didn't earn it. Ball did, because Ball did exactly all that he could do. But we know that Ford didn't do all that he could do. He admitted it himself. So you don't reward bad behavior. You don't. And that's why I said he is not going to be a champion at the next level up that he's moving to, because there are guys out there who are not going to take it easy on his ass. Ball fought as hard as he could. He can't fight no harder than that. But we just saw Ford make adjustments in the fight against Akhtamov in his last fight. He is already thinking about the next weight when it ain't no freaking guarantee. If he think he's going to go up there and just take it away from O'Shaquie Foster, he got another thing coming. So that's my little rant on that. But I just wanted to call attention to it because I want people to understand that. Right. It's too much of that going on. You got to be definitive, man. You can't just have it because, again, guess what? People ain't going to do their best. The worst thing that happened to Filip Hrgovic was the fact that he got that decision over Zhilei Zhang. And Zhang dropped him twice and beat his ass. And they made excuses. Oh, well, his father died and he wasn't right mentally or whatever. Well, he shouldn't have took the damn fight. But they gave him the decision. And Zhang been in good fights, big fights ever since, knocking guys down and out. Hrgovic in his next big fight gets knocked out. You see what happens when you passive aggressive with these guys and you just placate them and give them participation trophies and everything? They ain't gonna be the best. So you gotta stop that, bro. We gotta, and I say that because you know at the core, because you fought, you know what I'm telling you is factual. It's not me coming and pulling something out of the air and this and that. Dude, I have a coach's mentality. I've been a coach. I am supposed to tell it like it is. This that Ford did, his people should be on his ass. He gave that away. Just like Shakur gave away his belt on the scale because he didn't just want to make the weight. But then he figured he'd go up to the next division and they would just give him a title shot just like that. No, the weight, the belt that you lost on the scale is your bargaining chip for going up. But you threw that away. So that means when you go up, you got to get in line, bro. This is why all those people that was complaining and talking about, well, Devin should have gave him a shot. Devin didn't have to give him a shot. He didn't have to.
Yeah,
it's too much
true.
of this going on in the sport right now. It's too much.
Yeah, that's definitely true, man. Another fight that I wanted to talk to. Bivol surprised me. I really thought that kid was gonna upset, and Bivol pulled that out. That was
Well, you know what's interesting? That kid was so high and full of himself that he wasn't mindful of defense. He wasn't mindful of defense and care for himself. Now, if he had been a little more defensive minded, you know, looking to block shots and keep his chin tucked and stuff like that, and maybe go rounds with Bivol and then try to take some chances. But no, from the opening start, he kind of fought with an arrogance that's like, I deserve to be here. I'm as good as you. And he found his ass on the canvas before the end of the first bell. You understand? It's like, when I saw that, I was like, this is a matter of time. And it was.
Yeah.
Now, that was good for Bivol because he got a knockout first in 5 years or whatever, but it's all water under the bridge because when he gets in there with Bitter Beef, he's going to get eaten alive his damn self. So it doesn't really matter. Right. Bivol's run has been great. He made fame off of handing Canelo an ass whooping, which we loved, but he's on borrowed time. And it's okay. You know, it's okay.
Yeah. Now, what's my man, Dubois? Oh man, I completely agree with you, man. He's got to tighten up his defense.
Yeah.
There was some shots, man, that he should not have been getting hit with. He's definitely got to tighten. I feel that if he tighten up his defense, he will definitely be more formidable at that, at that weight class.
I'm telling you, I don't know why guys don't think like what I presented. I said that Don Charles should call Teddy Atlas and bring him in and have him work for a camp with Dubois and teach him defensive stuff, because Dubois' style is not much different from what Cuss had to work with Floyd Patterson and Mike Tyson. They're punchers. They're forward-facing, forward-fighting guys with power and strength. So he needs something as an asset to accentuate his explosiveness and everything, because I could see moments in the fight yesterday where he's in there with Hrgovic, and I was kind of like, in my mind, willfully saying, do this, do that, and it was not there.
Right.
He wasn't doing it.
Right.
And I was like, whoa, can you imagine if someone introduced these nuances to him? My goodness, he would be dangerous as hell, because he's already shown us that he can walk through the fire. Now it's time to show him how to swim without getting wet. Because once he comes on, it's like, that's a hell of a dude to try to turn back. And understand, the best at the top of the division, the Wilders and Furies and Usyks and even Zhang, put him up there, they not going to be around long. And AJ is approaching that group as well. 1 or 2 more losses for AJ, it's over,
It's over, yeah.
So Dubois could be definitely leading the pack. The dude is like 26 years old.
Right.
He ain't even hit his freaking prime yet.
Yeah.
This is why you bring somebody in and help him get better. He know how to fight. And the Big Baby Miller fight was a huge turning point for him. He now has confidence. He now knows, and he exorcised a ghost and a demon that he had a bad history with. Those are the type of building blocks that give you a more solid foundation to stand upon going forward. You see, I always look at the glasses half empty, not half full, you know? And the thing is, when you add to this and you add to this, my goodness, you end up with a masterpiece. That's all he needs now. You bring a guy in that can help him with defense. And that damn peekaboo style would be beneficial to Dubois. Could you imagine a 6'4", 243-pound Mike Tyson?
Oh man. Yeah.
Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Mike Tyson was 5'10", y'all.
Right.
I'm telling you, know, I don't say things for shock value. I just try to give you something to think about. You know what I mean? Just like when I was working in the gym with guys, I try to give them some. Try this, and let me know. What do you think? And they'd be like, yeah, whatever. Okay, that's cool. But it could have helped you a lot more than hurt you. Huh? So when I say these things, don't think that I'm just talking and blowing smoke. No, not at all.
Exactly. Man, well, I'm going to end this, man, with my beloved brother, Wilder, man. I know during your chop session, man, I had put in the chat that I was concerned about the retirement in his conversation that he was saying. When a fighter says that, you know, that tells me that you got one foot in and one foot out the door if you're talking, you know, retirement, especially when you got a fight coming up.
Well, if you really think about it, he had that way back when he was having that statue ceremony.
Yeah.
And it was at that moment that he decided he was going to come back because he was like 90% ready to walk away from it all. He should have. He should have.
Yes, he should.
The reason being is what they did to him in the sport. I'm forever unforgiving of that. They made an example of him. Some people wouldn't know what I mean by that, and I am not going to articulate that on the air. If you know, you know. If you don't,
right,
too bad. But what they did to him, I'll be forever unforgiving of that. But I still have a great deal of respect and consideration for his accomplishments, particularly in this era of people who are not solid and who don't stand for something. So with that being said, you know, yeah, to me, that's when he did retire, when he had his statue ceremony, because everything that came out after that was not what we would consider the best for him or of him.
Right. Yeah, and I saw that with the before the Zhang fight when he fought Parker, and in the clinch he was like throwing hammer fists, and I was like, oh,
he threw a couple at Zhang last night.
Yeah, he actually threw a couple at Zhang last night. Yeah, and then with the timidness, you know, he was hesitant in throwing the right hand, the pawing with the jab, just not looking good, man. I don't know why you would take a guy that you beat real easy and use him as a trainer. I don't get it. But, you know, salute to that brother, man. He definitely, you know, I'm sure people around him that love him are going to tell him, you know, to go ahead and hang the gloves up.
When Ali was going to fight Larry Holmes, he went into that fight, the press conference. He talked a lot of stuff like he's known to do. He dyed his hair because there was gray coming into his hair. Ali dyed his hair jet black. I think when he was training for Holmes, he was up in the 240 pounds or something, and he got down to like 218 or 216. That was reminiscent of like when he fought George Foreman or something. He had dropped a lot of weight, and then people were like, "Oh, the old Ali is back. He really, got himself in shape." A lot of people don't realize that it was a lot of diuretics and stuff that he took to lose the weight and everything. He didn't put the work in like he's supposed to, but he did. He cut corners and everything. And then some of those substances that he took, I think, were not healthy for him, and they caused thyroid problems and stuff like that. But long story short, when he took his robe off and the bell rang for the first round, he looked like someone familiar, that we knew.
Mm-hmm.
But by the end of the first round, it was like, oh my goodness, and thank God it was Larry Holmes and not one of the other contenders or whatever, because Larry Holmes pulled punches against Ali.
Yeah, he did.
He didn't try to hurt or kill Ali like Trevor Berbick did in Ali's final fight.
Right.
And I say that to say this. Ali was in there. Holmes was throwing shots. He would cover up. He'd lean on the ropes, and he had such conviction. He wouldn't go down. And Larry was telling him during the fight, "Go down, champ. Go down." And Ali would just say, "You hitting like a sissy," and this and that. But when Wilder was fighting yesterday, I'm saying to myself, jab, champ, jab, throw the 1-2, step the other way. And he wasn't doing it. And I said to myself, oh shit, I seen this before. The Joseph Parker fight was not an aberration. It was a flag. Joseph Parker, when they were supposed to fight years earlier, when he was WBO champion and fought AJ instead of Wilder, would have got stopped by Wilder inside of 3 or 4 rounds.
Oh, easy.
The Wilder that Joseph Parker faced was like the Ali that Larry Holmes faced. But your ego, your pride, your sense of like not wanting to believe what your eyes are seeing kept you from acknowledging the obvious. He shot. And that's not something to praise or whatever, but
exactly.
My goodness. And Zhang, who has no footwork at all, he couldn't even get away or get around the guy. His footwork and positioning was off. I'm like, oh, no. But I'm going to tell you something. And I said I wasn't going to say nothing about him no more in this show, but I'm going to say one last thing. If Malik Scott is really his brother, down, Ace, Boone, Coon, huh?
Yeah.
Why is he still letting him go out there like that?
Exactly.
Why? With friends like that, I don't need no damn enemies.
Yeah, that's real talk. It was hard. It was hard to watch, man. And I related back to, you speaking on Ali. It was hard to watch Ali's era end, and it was also hard when Leonard's era ended. Remember when he fought Terry Norris and Terry threw his hands up like, "Is that it, champ?" And Leonard shrugged his shoulders like, "That's all I got."
Yep.
You know, that was hard. Man, that was hard for me to see that, you know. And it was also, you know, it was also hard, you know, for me to see Tyson's era in, you know. And again, it was hard for me to see Wilder's era in, man. And but you know, it's just, you know, every era has to end, man. It's boxing, you know, so it happens.
Yeah, that Leonard and Terry Norris situation. Again, I'm actually glad it was Norris because
Me too.
Norris
Yep.
had a love for Leonard that
Exactly.
you know
Exactly.
other fighters didn't have for him, and
Right.
he idolized Leonard, and I think that's kind of one of
Yeah.
the reasons why Leonard picked him, you know, to fight him. But it became painfully obvious very quickly that
Right.
that wasn't Sugar Ray Leonard. That was Ray Charles Leonard in there with Terry Norris that night. And as you say, you know, you stick around long enough, you watch enough fights in history, you've seen these things.
Yeah, you should have that leg. Right. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's true, brother. That's true. Yeah, that's true, man. Man, I gotta get on this highway, man. I gotta take this load to where am I going? Knoxville, Tennessee. So I gotta get rolling, brother. Peace and love to you, man.
Yes,
you know
sir.
What I'm saying? This one right here is one of my favorite shows, man, because, you know, we get to call in and talk to you, but, you know, I get to talk to you all the time, so it's all good.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right,
And I
brother.
appreciate you,
Peace and love
champ.
to you, brother.
All right, same to you. You take care and be safe out there on those roads, man.
Most definitely, brother. Most definitely.
All right, peace now.
All right, later.
Oh, man, Champion Hart, a.k.a. Cooking with the Champ. That's my brother there. Glad he had a chance to call in. KG, thanks for being able to, you know, sign off and give him that opportunity. Much appreciated, man. But, man, what a show, man. And we're here pretty much at the end of things, but sorry about that. We're pretty much here at the end of things, but it's been a great show. A great show to follow up and talk about yesterday's fights and have conversations on things in particular. This is great. It's great. We do this, man. Yeah, we do this with love, you know. Love for the sport. That's right, Shower. 3 great calls, huh? 3 great ones. But you see what we can do here? And I can tell you guys, when I look at my stats here, 300 and something people, Shower. 300. Only 64 lights. But they come in and they be checking Stormy out, though. 300 and something people. Are you kidding me? $300 and something people. I told Champ Side yesterday in his live stream, I said, you know, they mess with my numbers too, Champ. I be on here, people, you know, bunch of foolishness. The Messenger 215 say I left out about 4 times, so you got at least 4 views. Thanks there, Messenger. But you can only hit the like button once, though. You can only hit it once. You know? But I know what you're saying. I know what you're saying. I'm trying to do something behind the scenes here. Well, not behind the scenes, but with my graphics. Well, yeah, we coming to the end of today's show. I want to thank all of the super chatters that came out today. But before we get out of here, we got to hear from my man, Healer the Teacher, and the Focus Ball product. Somebody get a Focus Ball over there to Danny Dubois. You UK people who watch my channel, tell them they could go to Focus Ball channel, or the link will be in the description. Get this brother a Focus Ball unit so he can start moving that head, because that's the only thing, the only piece left for the puzzle for this guy. You know what I mean? Gotta do it, man. You gotta do it. And show up that defense and you'll be ready to conquer the world. But here's the Focus Ball trailer.
Get ready to take your striking game to the next level with the Focus Ball. Dramatically improved footwork, timing, head movement, hand-eye coordination, reflex, and overall fight IQ. It's lightweight and extremely portable, so you can train every time, everywhere. When you don't have a coach to do mitt work, get a Focus Ball. When you don't have a heavy bag to hit, get a Focus Ball. When you don't have a sparring partner, get yourself a Focus Ball. And when you just want to have fun punching and kicking, get a Focus Ball. When you train with the Focus Ball, you train your eyes and your brain to read punches so that you can hit and not get hit, making this very simple device a must-have for all combat sports athletes and enthusiasts alike. So if you want to take your striking game to the next level, don't wait. Get the Focus Ball now.
Yeah, don't forget to get you some of that Stormybman merchandise while you're at it, man. There's plenty out there for you, something in the bag for everybody, whether it's something to cover your head or your heart, or something to put in your stomach, like by way of a mug, There's plenty out there. Make sure you get you something today. Yeah. I want to address a couple of comments before I get out of here. Night Train says, great insights today, Stormy. I'm questioning Eddie Hearn's input on the matchups. Listen, one of the things that Hearns has done is he puts guys in live matches. It's up to them to win the fights. He can't fight for them. But all of the promoters don't do that. Most promoters are looking for guys that are easy touches for their fighters. You know what I mean? And Al the Truth is out there saying, very good show and knowledge. Appreciate that. You know, for all of the other comments, I couldn't get to everybody because there was so much going on, plus with the calls and everything. But I want to say thank you to everybody that shows support by way of smashing the like button. And a very good overall show today. Thank you so much. And there's so much appreciation for what we're doing here and trying to do with the Sunday morning call-in show. So hopefully you guys have a great start to your work week, and we'll be back next Sunday for another Answering the Bell. But I want to say shout out to the mighty LDBC, and we catch you guys on the next one. Peace.
What do you think of me, girls?
As good as any white man.